guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my Chicklets recommendations video. So, I'm going to show you some books that I have read, some authors that I love, and I may well at the end mention some books that I've recently bought that have got that have just been spoken about and that will really inspire you to pick them up. Now, I was distancing myself away from Chicklet at the start of the year and at the end of last year, trying to widen my varieties and going more into my historical fiction, thrillers and things like that. But with everything that's been going on, I have certainly been picking up my Chicklets a lot more, and oh my goodness, it has done me the world of good because it's really made me happy. It's been a good comfort read. They're not too challenging up here, but they make me smile and they are cosy. So I wanted to share some of them with you. Some of them I haven't got because I've given them away, so I've got a little bit of a selection. And I've got definitely a selection of authors that I would definitely recommend that you will try if you want Chicklet books. So I'm going to start off with, I'm going to grab one of my books, with probably one of my favourite Chicklets ever. And that is How to Find Love in a Bookshop by Veronica Henry. You guys know this got one of the highest ratings of all my Chicklets last year. And it is still one of the best books I've got. I've got a lot of Veronica Henry's books. I've read a lot of her books and I will keep buying them because as Chicklets go, they are cosy and they're well written and they're not really got any holes in them, which I love. This one I think is especially important to me because it's in a bookshop. I bought it when I was out with Simone and Charlie last year, and it was purely a cover buy, so you guys have seen this all over my channel. It's about Amelia, who's returned to her idyllic Cotswold hometown to rescue the family business, Nightingale Books. It's a dream come true for book lovers, but the best stories aren't always written within the books she sells. What I love about this is, yes, it's got romance, but it's got so much more. It's got links into, it talks about loads of different books that we all know and love. It's thoroughly well written. It's a lot about friendship, discovery, and books and bookshops, and it's something I am really missing at the moment. But if you love bookshops, if you love books that have links to other books that we all know about, this is one for you. And yes, the romance is cosy and it's beautiful and it's a brilliant book. There are other books that I would recommend by Veronica Henry. One of them is Night on the Orient Express, which is a book I read last year with Gaia. That does have a lot of lead characters, and that's the only negative thing about that is you can get lost a little bit because a lot of lead characters are all on the Orient Express. A lot of different romances, so you can get a bit lost, but it's a brilliant, well-written book. There is another book of hers called The Forever House, which I loved, and she is a really good author. I've got a couple of her books on my shelf that I have not read, but this is one of the only Chicklet books I've kept, and it's certainly one of my absolute favourites. So, wouldn't be a Chicklet video if I didn't mention Page 2. So this was her most recent book until there's another one that is getting released. She's got a book that's being released in August, which is released on ebook, but it's not going to be released on paperback until I think the 6th or something of August. My sister's just read it on ebook and it's brilliant. This is one that I loved, If You Could Go Anywhere. It's not probably my most favourite of hers, but it is still a really lovely book. It's Angie wanted to travel her life, but at 27 she's barely stepped out of the small mining town she was born in. Instead she discovers a world through stories told to her by passing travellers, dreaming that one day she'll do it. When her grandmother passes away, leaving Angie with no remaining family, she's ready to start her own adventures. And then she finds a letter revealing an address of a father she never knew. Another cosy Chicklet, really good, really loved it. It's not the best, and I think if it was focused more on the father side of it, it would have been even better. But it was a good cosy Chicklet, and it was one I loved, and it was one I was definitely worth waiting for. But there are two other books of hers that I would definitely recommend. One I've written a note on down here, which I read last year, and that's called The One We Fell in Love With by Page 2, and it's on 3 identical triplets who all fell in love with the same gentleman, the same boy, and they all are interlinked in that way. It is heartbreaking. There are some bits in there that I cried my eyes out, but it's probably one of the best of hers that I've read. And also Johnny Be Good, and that Johnny series, because there's about 2 or 3 books. I think he's got 2 books in the Johnny Be Good series. And they are brilliant because it's about a rock star and a lady that falls in love with a rock star and the bad boy and things like that. And that story's all interlinked. And her Christmas special has like a load of the like little short stories on the main stories, and that's brilliant as well. So Paige Schunan is another great chick lit author that I would thoroughly recommend, and she's also a really lovely lady. She's someone I've chatted to on Twitter many a time, and she's really lovely, and that alone makes me really enjoy her books. So now I've got two Miranda Dickinson, which is another author that I'm newish to. One of her books that I loved last year, and one of my favourite chick lits, is Searching for a Silver Lining. I'm just about to give this to the charity shop because I think other people need to read it. Matilda Bell is left heartbroken when she falls out with her beloved grandfather just before he dies. Haunted by regret, she makes a promise that will soon change everything. Sorry about the noise in the background, guys. When spirited former singer Rennie Silver enters her life, Mattie seizes the opportunity to make amends. Together, Mattie and Rennie embark on an incredible journey that will find long-lost friends from the 1950s and put rights to a 60-year wrong. This is about two generations that are really linked in, and they are so lovely. It's about friendship, it's about love, but it's such a well-written book. I know I loved getting to know my nans, and I loved their history, and if I could find out more about that, then that would be interlinking, and I just loved that. So that was a really good book. I've got one of her books that is on my shelf to read at some point soon, which is I'll Take New York by Miranda Dickinson. That's another good book. When her boyfriend lets her down one too many times, Brooklyn bookstore owner B. James makes a decision: never again. No more men, no more heartbreak, no more pain. So, it looks like she owns a bookshop. It's set in New York. It looks like it's going to be good. I love the look of this. It is. The only thing that's putting me off reading is the fact that it's nearly about 500 pages. That's probably why it's not top of my list, but it looks great. And Miranda Dickinson is another great chick lit author. I believe I've read at least one other book of hers. So check out my Goodreads page and you'll see more links at her. Now, another one that I've just recently finished that I'm sending to Charlotte at Books and Bargains soon. This is The Hidden Cottage by Veronica James. You guys know I read this last month and I absolutely loved it. Again, it would have been on my reviews for last year. Mia Channing appears to have the enviable life, beautiful home in the village of Little Pelham, a stable, happy marriage, and 3 grown-up children till she's devoted to. But there's a twist in this that's very upsetting, but it's a brilliant book. I've got more of Veronica James's books that I'm going to be reading. This was another surprisingly good chick lit. I didn't expect it to be good. If a chick lit gets 4 stars and above, then it's got to be good, because that means it's legendary. Another one of my favourite authors that I could not do a video on. She is a YA. I wouldn't say it's a chick lit, but it's a YA chick lit, because it's got romance in it. This is called What You Want by Bridget Kemner. It is one of my favourite books of this year. Buddy read it with the lovely Chloe. It was a present from the lovely Nicole. Oh my goodness. Bridget Kemner's YA books are brilliant. They are borderline chick lit because there are romance in it in a YA variety. So if you want the YA side of chick lit, this is where you go. It's brilliant. Rob had it all when his dad was caught embezzling funds from half the town. Everything's changed. Now Rob's a social pariah who'd lost everything. Megan's a typical overachiever until the pressure got to her last year. When their sort of stories are interlinked, it's brilliant. There is also a need to read Letters to the Lost and More Than We Can Tell. They're her other chick lit books. Again, one of them I've read and I think it's brilliant. I think it's More Than I Can Tell, and that's brilliant. And I need to read Letters to the Lost. But she is another brilliant author, fantastic lady, lovely, friendly lady. If you want YA contemporary chick lits, go for that. Now, according to Instagram, I haven't read this. It's on my shelf. I think I've read it, according to book. I know what I'll get right. Goodreads. Jane Green is another thoroughly good chick lit author. I've got this book on my shelf. I think I've read it. Ronnie's 3 adult daughters, so it's never easy being one of Ronnie Sunshine's daughters. Publicly, she's a glamorous, successful, dramatic Hollywood actress. Privately, she's self-absorbed, angry and disinterested, narcissistic mum. Now in her 70s, Ronnie has developed strange symptoms, but refused to believe her diagnosis. She has ALS. There is no cure. And that's sisters interlinking. Jane Green is another good chick lit author. She was one of my first chick lit authors that I ever got, and she's very cosy, very sunshiny. I've got a couple of more of her books that I need to read, although I've read most of them. Another great author to go to. I had to show this one because I don't actually have the first book. The first book in this is Billy and Me. I've now got Dream a Little Dream. No, Always with Love, which is the second one in the series. So Sophie meets Billy Buskin in the first book, and he's like a big movie star, and she's like a girl that's hiding from her past and stuff. So this is the second in the series that I need to read. So it's like they're together, and when Billy takes a trip to his family to Los Angeles, she's quickly discovered she's totally unprepared for the chaos of Hollywood, the paparazzi, and Billy's controlling mum. So this looks good. I know I like Billy with Me. Apparently there's Christmas with Billy Me as well. And then there's the one that you want, and there's Dream a Little Christmas Dream. So there's Dream a Little Dream. I know I've got Dream a Little Dream, so there's a Christmas Dream as well. So she's another one. One of her chick lit books I didn't like as much, but I know that I did love Billy and Me. It's a really good book. So I definitely like that. I like the underdogs. I like the fact that Sophie wasn't exactly someone that you would expect to fall in love with a film star. So I really love this, and it's one. So I really loved its predecessor, so I can't wait to read this. Charlotte, if you're watching this, did we say we would buddy read this together? If we did, can we set the date for it? Because I would love to read this with you. Sometimes I get memories. So I've got another book that I haven't got with me, which is A Year and a Day by Isabel Broom. I've got another 2 of her books on my shelf that I need to read. One was given to me by my lovely friend Tracy last year, and I can't wait to read it. Definitely want to. Isabel Broom's another cosy, goody, chick-lit author that I loved, and I had to mention that book. Another's one of Lisa Jewell's book, The Making of Us, and it's about 3 children that are all of the same sperm donor, and they've all got very different lives, and when they try and find their birth father, their lives interlink, and it's a really good book. So it's one of her chick lit books. I've got a few more of her chick lit books and some of her thrillers down there, all of which I loved. I used to read a lot of her chick lit books, and I've read some of them that are fantastic, so I can't wait to read more of them. Another book that I only read last month, but I had to include a Jenny Colgan book in this list. It's the loveliest chocolate shop in Paris. It's in my last month's review, so I would have talked about it a lot. It's about finding love. It's about chocolate. It's about things. It's in my bag to go to a charity shop. But I will be honest, I don't know if I'm going to put it in there or whether I'm going to keep it for me, because it does. I'm still not sure. It looks so good. It talks about an old romance. So we've got a story from years ago in the 1960s, and then a story from more currently. And it looks really good, and it's a really good book. Jenny Colgan is one of the best chick lit books authors ever, and she is a great cosy read, and I cannot wait to read more of her books, and I love them. I've got so many of her chick lits, and they are ones that I would thoroughly recommend to all of you. If you want to read chick lits, start with Jenny Colgan. If you like books on desserts and chocolate and stuff, read that. It's beautiful. And then lastly, a book that I am just about to start, literally the day that this is getting filmed, which is The Flatshare by Beth O'Leary. She's also written The Switch, which is another book that I've just recently got and I'll be reading soon. So this is, their friendships think they're crazy, but this is the perfect solution. Leon occupies a 1-bedroom flat. Sit down. While Tilly's at work in the day, and she has to run the place the rest of the time. But with obsessive ex-boyfriends, wrongly imprisoned brothers, and of course the fact that they haven't met, it seems this Flatshare is more complicated than they expect. It looks really good. I am excited to read this. Everyone has raved about this book. It's one that's been recommended by everybody, so I couldn't not include that. So, this is not one of my longest videos. I have got a lot more chick lit books that I've just recently purchased. Today I was really naughty and went and bought another book which will go on my favourites mini haul at the end of the week, at the end of the month. But I did buy The Patchwork Family by Kathy Bramley. That's a great chick lit book. I have gone and bought loads more, and I bought Sarah Morgan's book, which is Family for Beginners. I bought that today, so that's a sneaky peek to my end of the month haul. I need chick lit at the moment. It's something that's really making me smile, and it's something I really need to brighten me up. And I hope these recommendations help you. If you want to read chick lits, there's some really good ones here. And if you'd like more recommendations video, comment below. I would love to know what you'd like me to tell you about. Anyway, if you like this video, ignoring the chaos in the background, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling. And I hope you all have a great day.